Okay, what are we looking at here? Oh, what we're looking at here is um, two numbers being multiplied together that have the same base and have some coefficients. So what do? We multiply the coefficients. 2 times 3 is 6. And then we take the base and we say we're multiplying these together, so we're going to add the bases or the exponents together. So what we've got is 6 to the x, I'm sorry, 6x to the, and it's really 6 plus 1/2. That's kind of what it is, right? But obviously they don't have it written like that, so how do we do it? We have to have 6 plus 1/2, and we need to have a kind of fractional coefficient. So what we want to do is we want to turn this into the same denominator. Okay, that's got a 1 on it. But how many halves is 6? Well, there's twice as many halves as there are wholes, so we have twice as many than 6, or 12. So we've got 12 over 2 plus 1 over 2 is 13 over 2. So if it's 13 over 2, then instead of writing 6 plus 1/2, we're going to write 13 over 2. And that is A. Not too hard. Just got to know how to deal with those fractions, okay? This one, it's got an interesting little twist in it. Not a twist, it's just you got to know what to do. You're raising negative h to the fourth to the fifth power. So you're essentially saying negative h to the fourth times negative h to the fourth. And I know you know that that's what it means, times negative h to the fourth. The reason that I'm doing it is because I want you to kind of get your mind around something I'm going to suggest here, which is this. If you have an odd number of negatives, here you're raising this negative number to the fifth power. So you have 1, 2. Those two together, these two together, those negatives, they cancel each other out and make a positive, as do these two. And then there's this extra one left, turning the whole thing negative. Okay? Essentially what you could do is you could say negative times negative is positive. Positive times negative, negative again. Negative times positive switches it positive again. And then positive times negative, negative. So what we're dealing with is it's going to be a negative answer. Negative. Okay, now let's deal with the exponent. We've got an h, and whenever you have a power to a power, raised to a power, you have to multiply those and you get h to the 20. Okay, so that's our answer. And just to clarify here, what you're really seeing over there on this is inside what you're seeing inside that parentheses is negative 1 times h to the fourth. Okay, and anytime there's a coefficient other than just 1, you need to give that exponent to the coefficient as well. So that becomes negative 1 to the fifth times h to the fourth to the fifth. Okay, and negative 1 to the fifth, again, negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, or negative, and then h to the fourth raised to the fifth is h to the 20th. Okay, just another way of thinking about how we got to there. And finally, what we've got is 10 times n to the second raised to the negative 2. And we're going to do that same thing here. We're going to distribute that negative exponent to both parts. So we're going to say this 10 in the front, that gets raised to the negative 5, as well as times n to the second raised to the negative 5. Okay? Now, 10 to the negative 5 is the same as 1 over 10 to the fifth. And 10 to the fifth is just 10 times 10, 100, times 10, 1,000, times another 10, 10,000, times another 10, 100,000. In fact, it will have exactly the number of zeros as whatever the power is that you're raising it to. Okay, so it'll have 5 zeros. And then times, and you can see here that for the only choice is C so far. So what did they do with the n? They left it as having a negative exponent instead of putting it on the bottom. So what they do is 2 times -5 or -10, and that is what you get. You get 1/100,000th times n to the -10. Which one's that? That's